Hello again, this is Bob Carlson, and today I'm going to show you how I make my grandmother's pasta meat sauce. It's a recipe that my grandmother made many years ago when I was a boy and served it to the family on spaghetti and pasta and lasagna. It's a delicious sauce and I hope you enjoy it. So today, my grandmother's pasta meat sauce. Well, the first thing we'll do is prepare our ingredients, and we have a bulb of garlic, and we have an onion that we previously used, but we only need half a cup. So we'll use that half a cup and chop that onion up in a minute. So the first thing to do is to go in here and get 2 cloves of garlic from the bulb. There's 1 clove. Yeah. So we have 2 cloves of garlic. What I do is only cut off the ends, and we'll peel the cloves. They don't get away from me. Now we'll mince these cloves of garlic up. I cut them in half first, then I cut them in half again. You can tell the garlic is fresh. You don't have any of the plant growing in it. But it's always good to use fresh ingredients rather than older ingredients. By the way, this knife I use quite often. It's good for just about anything, and keeps the sharpness pretty good. That's about right. I'm ready to go. Put that on the knife. Bring in a cup and put all of our garlic in the cup. Now we're ready to add to the tomato sauce. So now let's go to the onion. First thing I'm going to do is cut off the old part of the onion, since this is one I've had in the refrigerator just a little bit, and we'll throw that away. We'll peel off these outer layers. Okay, so now we have a nice clean section of the onion. What you can do is just cut down into it like this. And we're going to make a checkerboard of cuts. And the easiest thing to do is just reverse that once you reach the center. Now we're going to cut in the opposite direction. And here's where a sharp knife really comes in handy. Again, reverse this. Now you don't really have to do this, but I like to do it. Seems to work pretty well. And then you just hold it like that. You cut right down. You see. And since we only need a half a cup, I think that's going to do just fine. The recipe calls for minced onions. So we're going to start mincing them in the same way. You can also use a hand chopper if you want. I do that sometimes, and other times I don't. Depends. See any pieces that are not quite minced, you can go back and get them again. I think that's good enough for that. Now we'll measure it. Bring in our measuring cup. Shake it, level it. Not quite half a cup yet. I think we gauged it pretty well. We got just about half a cup in what we took off that onion. Level it down, and there you can see. So we'll take that half a cup and put it into another bowl. Make sure we get it all out. So we have now our garlic and our onion prepared. The next step in preparation is to slice a pound of sausage, and this happens to be sweet sausage from the grocery store. It comes in a package of 5, which is 1.25 pounds, so that means that each sausage link is 1/4 pound. So 4 sausage links will make a recipe. So we're going to cut our sausage, and here's where a good sharp knife comes in handy. And it doesn't matter if these come out evenly or not. It also helps if you chill it. I would dare say you probably put it in the freezer a little bit. I have it in the refrigerator. And as long as you separate them, these slices, that'll be fine enough for the cooking. And you notice I'm kind of sawing back and forth and not just pushing down very hard, otherwise you'll crush the sausage and they won't come out as nice. So just saw kind of back and forth, make sure you get the cut all the way through. So here we're just going to do 2 at a time, just to make it a lot faster. And there you go, and that's 1 pound of sliced sausage. Now the next ingredient is 3/4 pound of chopped meat. You can see this is chopped meat I've had a couple of days, so it gets a little gray, but it's perfectly good. And we'll put that in with the sausage. Here you can see our prepared ingredients. And you can see in the first one, that's a garlic, onion, sugar, salt and pepper, and the spices, which are basil leaves, 1.5 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of Italian spices, 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of fennel seed. And there's our chopped sausage and ground beef. And of course we have 1/2 cup of water to add later. We also used crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, and tomato sauce. Here we are at our cooking station on the stove, and I'm going to get the cut sausage first and put that into a big pot, as you can see, and over medium heat I'm going to cook that for a little bit. Hopefully you can see that cooking in there. I have to keep scraping it because until the fat melts and gives it some fluid, it's going to stick a little. And I don't put any oil in here. I guess you could probably put some olive oil in, but I've never found it to be necessary. So you cook this for a few minutes. Now you can see that the sausage has cooked for a few minutes. It's starting to get brown. So we're going to add the beef. And what I tried to do is break the beef up as I add it, because we're going to break it up more and more in the pan as we cook it. So now we have beef added. We're also going to add the onions, and the garlic. And there we go. Let's stir this around. Good. And break up the meat. I hope you can see that we're breaking that up pretty good. And mix that around. We have browned the meat rather well here, and we've broken up the chopped meat as best we can, and we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is add a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Okay, and then we're going to add a 12-ounce can of tomato paste. And finally, we're going to add 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. All the ingredients I use are Hunt's because I find the flavor of the Hunt's really is better for the recipe. It makes it very delicious and very natural tasting. Some other manufacturers add different things to the sauces. The tomato paste and tomatoes sauce, things like that. But I get the regular salted tomato sauce and tomato paste and the crushed tomatoes and put them in. We add our ½ cup of water. And we'll mix that in really good. So we have 3/4 pound of chopped meat, a pound of sliced sausage, sweet sausage that is. We have a 28-ounce can of pureed or crushed tomatoes, rather. We've added a 12-ounce can of tomato paste and 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce. We have this on a low heat, which on my stove is about 4. We had it up to 4.5 or 5, and we put it onto a lower heat. Now once you get this stirred up really well, you add your remaining ingredients. Salt and pepper. Sprinkle that around. Mix that in really well. The sugar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I'll have these ingredients listed for you. And finally, all the extra spices we had, which is the basil, oregano, Italian spice, and fennel seed. Here's where it helps to have a couple of paddles. Really mix this up well, because this is something now we're just going to cover and cooking it 2 hours at a simmer. Really brings all the flavors together. And at that point, we'll add some final salt and pepper and other ingredients to taste. All right, now let's give it a cover and wait. Well, okay, it's now been 2 hours. We've been steeping our sauce. And you can see it's really thickened up nicely. Everything is cooked and done, and all the flavors are now blended together very, very well. So that's our sauce. In just a few minutes, we're going to put it over some pasta, and we'll see how it tastes. We have cooked up some curly pasta, and we're going to put a little bit of our sauce on it, like this. Looks good. And the final touch, of course, is a little Parmesan cheese over the top. So there you have it, my grandmother's pasta meat sauce, and it looks delicious. And a little plate of it, and I'm going to take a bite. That is good. Little Parmesan cheese on it really tops it off nicely. But everything about this is just 100% delicious. Well, until next time, we'll be seeing you.